Welcome to the coolest book challenge I think I will ever do. This is kind of like a double whammy challenge. It's like reading books I've never seen, but also reaching for genres I wouldn't normally reach for. I feel like it's just gonna be a dream to hold. It's been such a pleasant read. Thought-provoking story. Only thing I can equate this to is if you watch the TV show Severance. What a ride, what a whirlwind, honestly. Also just feels like she's talking to me on FaceTime. That's what this book feels like. I truly am eating this up, you guys. I'm literally so excited. I cannot believe this book exists. I got invested in the characters. I got invested in the relationships. Oh, man. Well, I'm bawling my eyes out. Is anybody surprised? No. I am starstruck by this woman, actually. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sophia. I basically just love reading and I love sharing it with you. And today we are embarking on a challenge that has taken me so many months. For you, it will be however long this video ends up being. But for me, I started this challenge, I don't even know when. Like last September, like maybe even before then. And currently in this moment that we are filming and that I'm talking to a camera, but you're watching it on your screens at home, it's now January 2026, okay? This is 6+ months in the making. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, I'm not sure. Little did I know how much these books would come to mean to me. So essentially, let's just dive into why I'm doing this in the first place. If you read the title, I'm reading 3 books I have never seen anybody talk about before. Because if you look at my shelves behind me, these are my favorite reads of all time. Everything behind me I would highly recommend. I rated them 3 stars or above. Almost everything on my shelves is guaranteed by me to be a fun time or will change your life, who knows. However, caveat to that, most of these I picked up because I saw somebody on YouTube or somebody on TikTok or somebody on Instagram be like, this is such a good book. I feel like the books that I read are already curated and already sought through to see what is the best of the best. What can I recommend to everybody else? And so I go into these books with a preconceived notion that it's going to be a good book, right? And so it's hard to make firm personal opinions about a book, which I do, of course, try to make the most unbiased opinion on any book that I read. However, it's hard because I'm reading books that are already kind of through a long list of people that say it's a good book, right? So it's hard to form my own opinions. So I went in with 2 goals with this challenge, okay? Go into the bookstore and buy 3 books I have never seen on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, that I've never seen before. I've never seen anybody talk about. Number 2, get 3 different genres. So throw myself completely out of my comfort zone, okay? In the past, I've always been like a fantasy reader, a romance reader, you know, in that genre. I ended up picking out Mademoiselle Alliance by Natasha Lester, which is a historical fiction based on a true story though. I've got Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. I just absolutely loved this cover. I couldn't not buy this. And this is sci-fi, kind of dystopian. And then I got Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies. This is like a light mystery type novel. It's got a little bit of romance. Very, very different genres in all 3 of these books. And that's exactly what I went in there for. So from the beginning to the end of this video, you're gonna see a full reading vlog of me reading all 3 of these books, my thoughts as we go. Basically just such a fun time, trying new things, forming my own opinions, and maybe finding some of my favorite books ever, okay? So join me for the ride. This has been such a pleasant surprise, a great time. And I hope that now, since you're hearing about these, that you will pick these up. Don't be alarmed. During this video, I literally moved houses. The first 2 books that I read are going to be these 2, and I read them in my old house, and then we moved to this house. So there's a lot of just like different scenery. You're going to go through parts of my life that I haven't even shown on YouTube yet, but that's okay because this video needs to be out there because these are some amazing books, and I can't wait to share them with you. So let's get into it. All right, we are all ready and set to read the first book of this challenge, which is Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. I originally saw this book in Barnes & Noble like 4 or 5 different times. I never got it, and I was like, what is a practical reason that I can pick this book up? And it's obviously to read it and chat with you guys and recommend books I've never seen before. One of the things I really wanted to do this year was to kind of put myself out there and not just buy books that I see on Book Talk or see other people talking about. I want to actually like try a book that looks good just because it looks good to me, and then be able to hopefully recommend some good books to you. So I'm really, really hoping I love it. First of all, the cover is beautiful, and then I have ranted and raved to every person in my life how much I love these smaller hardback Oh my gosh, a work of art. A work of art, the smaller hardback. Let me show you an example. This is the classic hardcover size, and this is the size of this. I feel like it's just gonna be a dream to hold, and it's just like not gonna be uncomfortable. I'm so excited. I actually haven't even looked at what the like actual cover looks like. Oh, interesting. This is where the axe is buried. Very different vibes than the dust jacket. I am going into this so blind. The only vibes I kind of got from the description was sci-fi thriller, kind of. If you've been around my page at all, I'm not a thriller girl, just because I don't love being scared, but this doesn't really give scary vibes. So hopefully this is really fun. I'm also kind of trying to not make these books super, super long that I'm picking up, just because I want to be able to like commit to it in a short amount of time to kind of give you concise thoughts on how I feel about it and give you a concise reading vlog of 3 different books. So this book has 322 pages, which is very easy. Hopefully we can complete this in just a few days because I've been trying to read 100 to 150 pages a day. I did look on Goodreads and this does have some high ratings, but there's not a ton of them. So this isn't a super widely known book, which was the goal for this entire video. So I'm very excited to read this. So let's get started. Okay, first 3-chapter, 30-page update. I'm really enjoying the premise of this. This is so unique. I honestly don't even know how to explain what the heck I'm reading right now. So far, we've been introduced to 3 different perspectives. The first perspective, I think, was just kind of like an opener, and then the other 2, I think, are going to be like the main back and forth ones. Very, very unique, almost dystopian vibe going on. From one character's perspective, there's like a mystery that he's trying to solve. From another, they're essentially the answer to the mystery and they're living in like this dystopian, strange reality. Nobody knows how they got there and what happened. I'm obviously not going to give too many spoilers, but essentially we have Lilia. She went home to visit her father and she never went back. I'm not going to give a bunch of spoilers, but I think essentially this is like the premise. We have Lilia and Palmer. They met in London, they fell in love, and they're together, right? Lilia leaves London to go visit her father and then she never returns. So we see Palmer's perspective, who's kind of living out this mystery, and he's like, where is she? Where did she go? We're also living in this very like high tech world. Like they have access to numbers and data that we don't have access to. Hard to explain, but kind of like you understand it when you're reading it. And then you also get Lilia's perspective, and she's living in this very strange dystopian world. The second that she came home, she was like, I should have never come home. I don't know what's going on. And essentially, we don't know why or how, but the government is like in control of every single move they make, like even in their own homes. They know exactly what expressions they're making, what they're saying, and they like dock points off of you for like saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, even within your own household. And so like that's as far as I've gotten so far. And it is very, very interesting. I'm obviously not going to give you every detail. That's kind of just the premise, the beginning. Hopefully that kind of piques your interest. But so far, like I've really enjoyed the writing. It's poetic, but not in a way that distracts from driving the plot forward. So like so far, so good, honestly. The best beginning I could have hoped for, especially for a book that like I don't already kind of like know the premise. But I will obviously keep you updated as we go, and I'm planning on reading a good bit more today. Hello there, good afternoon. It's been a couple days since we chatted last. I just made an afternoon iced latte. So good. Since we talked last, I've made significant progress in this book, and honestly, it's been such a pleasant read. I am a little over halfway. 161 was halfway, and I'm on page 178. We're on chapter 20. Do I have any idea what's going on? No. But that is honestly what has kept me so interested. It's very fast paced. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, all right, time to let me know what's happening. Only thing I can equate this to is if you watch the TV show Severance, that whole first like episode, second episode, even into the third, you were like, what is going on? Like you have a weird feeling, you know something dystopian is happening, but you don't know what the heck it is. That is what this is like. It's not similar to that world at all, but I know I've been thrust into a very dystopian, strange environment. I'm getting perspectives from every angle, and I have no clue what's happening, but you're just kind of like, okay, I know that something big is about to go down, and I know I'm about to start getting some answers here because we're a little over halfway. Very plot driven. If you know me, you know I'm a very character-based person. I'm not necessarily deeply connected to any of these characters, but it is so fast paced that like I'm really just enjoying the read. So that's kind of my updates so far. I'm planning on getting a good bit finished tonight. I would like to be 3/4 of the way through this by tonight, and then I would love to finish it tomorrow if possible. However, I do work a long shift tomorrow, so that might not be possible. I do know that we will be finishing this in the next couple of days, which is awesome. It honestly has been like such a refreshing experience, like reading something that I have absolutely never heard of. So I don't have any biases in my ear of like, oh, this is how I felt and this is this. Like I can create my own opinion on this and kind of just share with you guys, so hopefully that you can go create your own opinion on this. So that was kind of like the goal of this entire video, and I'm really enjoying that so far, just for myself as a reader, to like broaden my horizon and allow myself to go try things that maybe I've never seen before, and hopefully that encourages you to do that as well. Because before it was like, oh, like this person said this is good, I'll go grab that. And it's like, no, like I'm a reader, I want to be attracted to the things that I should read, and so far it's done me well. So crossing our fingers that that's the vibes for the rest of this video, and let's keep reading. All right, we're about to sit down right now to finish this book. I have a little over 50 pages left. I think we can finish it pretty quickly, honestly. My overall thoughts at this point is I've really enjoyed the story itself. Sorry, I'm trying to like find where to put this down. I've really enjoyed the story itself, but I still have no answers, and we have a little over 50 pages left. So really how I feel about it is going to depend on how this ends, obviously. If I feel like it wraps up well and I get the answers and like the loose ends are all tied up, I'm gonna have had like an incredible experience. So I'm really, really hoping that like we get the answers we need, because it just feels like I should know more than I know right now. And that might be completely intentional. So we're gonna finish this out. Obviously, I'm gonna let you know my full thoughts, and we will go from there. Chapter 34, things are clicking into place. I still have a lot of questions, but honestly, this book, like, I don't even really know how to explain everything that's gone down, but it really is just a very thought-provoking story. I think it's meant to leave you pondering, is really the only way I can explain this. Like, I may sit and stare at the wall for a few hours to be like, wow, like, this book is meant to question your line of thinking about how the world works. Honestly. And I'm not mad about it. Like, it's been really good so far. Less than 10 pages left in this. So I'm gonna be really focused for a second. Oh, you're good. Last chapter. Yeah, I'm gonna go stare at a wall for a few hours, and I'll come back and let you know my thoughts. Okay, I'm here to give you my final thoughts on this book. We obviously just finished this together. What a ride. What a whirlwind, honestly. I need to go stare at the wall for several hours because the academic that this brought out in me is crazy. I will say regarding this book, you're gonna leave with more questions than answers, and that is obviously intentional. I'm a very character-driven person. This book is not about the characters. This book is about thought-provoking issues that are gonna make you question your view of the world and politics and government and everything. You essentially get 5 different perspectives, and I'm not going to give away too much because going into this book blind honestly made the experience so much better. You get 5 different perspectives of people that are all in different places in this revolution, all in different places in this government, thoroughly corrupt government, and you get to see from the inside out how things happen, where things went wrong, and you leave with so many questions. And it's obviously intentional because you leave with, what would I have done in this scenario? What could have been done differently? And then you also question, like, would the end of the world in this case be a bad thing? And that is just such an interesting conversation. I did not think that this was going to be as thought-provoking as it is, especially even just the title. You kind of like understand what the title means and everything at the end. And I do think I'm going to come back to this book and think of it often when I'm thinking about these very intense topics of conversation. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you just have to experience it. It's 322 pages. It is a very fast read. It's easy to hold. The font is perfect. I read this very quickly. And if you're looking for just a very thought-provoking story, I wouldn't even call this a palate cleanser, but I would in the way of you're not going to read anything like this because it's not like you're getting super deeply involved with the characters in a story. You're getting fed thought pools of information in which you have to connect the dots and the pieces yourself and decide how you feel about them yourself. It's very, very interesting. And it's not an overload of information because it's only 300 something pages. Like, it's short, it's quick, it's easy, but you leave with so many thoughts. I don't really know. I'm honestly having such a hard time coming up with a rating for this because it is so different than anything I've ever read. I think I'm going to go with like 3.75 to 4 stars, only because for me, I love a character-driven story. Like, this isn't necessarily something that I would be drawn to in a normal setting, which is why I'm doing this video, because I want to expand my horizons, try different genres, try things that I have no idea what's going on, go in blind, and then be able to potentially share some new favorites with you. Even though my rating isn't like a 5-star, I still highly, highly recommend this read just because I need someone to talk to about it, because what just happened, and also like the writing was like, if we were to base this on writing alone and thought processes alone and like how it made you think, 5 stars. The story itself isn't one of my favorites ever, no, but I will think of this often, and I think that that is really a deciding factor for you if that's something that you're interested in. And it's honestly such a fast-paced read. It's really easy to fit in between books on your TBR, so honestly I highly recommend because I want to talk to you about it, and also like my brain hurts, but like not in like a bad way. I'm just kind of like, wow, like that seriously left me with so many questions, but also like answers that I want to have that like I need to find in me, which is like so dramatic, but like that's what this did, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna call it here. I'm sure that I'll do a full review of all 3 books in this video at the end once I've had time to kind of really sit on the endings of all of them. But as of now, what an interesting first book to read in this video, and if you read it, I'm really, really curious to hear your thoughts. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, we are officially on the way to Barnes & Noble right now to find the other 2 books that we need for this challenge. I previously already had Where the Axe Was Buried because I saw it, and that's what kind of made me come up with this video and this challenge, but we still need 2 books that we've never seen anyone talk about on Book Talk or never seen anywhere else. So we're heading to Barnes & Noble right now to find those and pick those up for this video. Excited, but I'm hoping I'm not going to take like a super long time because it's kind of pouring. This is perfect reading weather, so I'd love to just get reading. So we are on our way to Barnes & Noble, and then I'm picking up food for my husband and I, and yeah, that's kind of the plan. So let's go find 2 new books. Okay, so it was honestly really hard to film in there. I tried to film a few clips, but I just felt really intimidated. I never can really film in Barnes & Noble very well just because I feel like everyone's looking at me, and also my camera freaking makes noises, and I bet I can turn this off in settings, but my camera freaking makes noises when I record, and it's so quiet in there, and I feel like everyone's looking at me. Anyways, awkward, so awkward. I'm gonna try to set this up so I can show you what I got, but I feel like I got 2 really good picks. I was trying to find, you already know the one that I found before was kind of like sci-fi, I don't even know what that was. It was more like futuristic. I wouldn't even say, I guess sci-fi, but like there really wasn't anything like fantastical about it, if you will. I can't tell if this person next to me is like watching me or not. It's like actually kind of freaking me out. Anyways, we're just gonna carry on, okay? So I got 2. I wanted to kind of get like different vibes. So the first one I got was Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. And I was drawn to it just because it was on the new mysteries table. And I really want to get into mysteries, but I get really scared really easily. And so I felt like, I was like, okay, this seems like it would be a good segue because everyone said it's quick, captivating, and really fun. It's similar to Knives Out, and I really love Knives Out. And it's just so funny. So essentially it's about this woman who is a novelist, and she writes mysteries / thrillers. And essentially she goes on this vacation, and what she was about to write about happens in real life is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. And that just seems like fun. I wasn't necessarily drawn to the cover. I don't love the cover, but it kind of seems fun. It says fresh, clever, and laugh out loud funny. And that's what we need. You know what I'm saying? That is what we need. So that was fun. And then the next one is the Mademoiselle Alliance. And I've been really wanting to get into some more historical fiction because I love Kristen Hanna. And this is about Paris in 1936. And it's about a woman who is approached by a spy network during the French Revolution. And just a lot of really like raving reviews, like from Kate Quinn, who is like a really reputable author, obviously. And it just seemed really good. I really the cover is really what drew me in on this one. I don't necessarily like, I don't know. I've never really read historical fiction other than Kristen Hanna, so I wanted to give this a shot. It's not super long. I think it's just over 400 pages. I think this is like a little under 400. Yeah, 330, something like that. So that's the two that I got. Really excited about it. So yeah, obviously I'll keep you updated. I'm not sure what I'm reading next, but I will let you know when I know. So yeah, that's what we got. Okay, we are moving on to book 2 of this video. It is called Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. Not gonna lie to you, I did already start this and I honestly just totally forgot to film. We are 94 pages in and honestly, I'm having a great time. So we are so far 2 for 2. Typically, I feel like books are hard for me to get into initially, and both of these books have just been really easy starts, which is the hardest part of reading for me, is getting acquainted with a new story. So I've just been very pleasantly surprised with both of these. This story is essentially like a cozy mystery. I tried to do like 3 different genres. So we had kind of like a sci-fi futuristic vibe. This is like a mystery, not a thriller, but kind of. And then we also have a historical fiction. All 3 of those genres are not genres I would normally reach for, honestly. So this is kind of like a double whammy challenge. It's like reading books I've never seen, but also reaching for genres I wouldn't normally reach for, just to expand my interest. This is going to be our last book we tackle while we are in this backdrop, because we are moving. And so once I get the new book room set up, that is when I'm going to be tackling book 3 of this challenge. So don't be shocked when you see just like a totally different vibe. But this book is essentially about an author who basically accidentally became an author. She just like started incessantly writing about an experience that she had in Rome, and then it turned into a book, and then she ended up getting a book deal, and all these things happen. Meanwhile, she's kind of got like an anti-hero partner that she never intended to be her partner, who is just kind of like essentially stealing money from her. I don't have all the details on that yet, but essentially she is writing a new mystery. She's on like her 10th novel. She has to travel to Rome to write this new mystery. She wants to kind of conclude her series. And all of a sudden, what she wants to write about starts happening in real life. So we are just kind of trying to solve this before something bad happens. Nothing like super riveting has happened, but the way that she writes is so awesome. I love how this has been written so far. There's footnotes. I'm a big footnote person. The only other book I've ever read with footnotes is Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I love that. Takes you out of the story, brings you into the author's mind, brings you into the character's mind. And I really, really love that. Also just feels like she's talking to me on FaceTime. That's what this book feels like. It feels like we were chatting. And I love the informality of that. So I'm really having a great time, and I will obviously keep you updated as we go. Okay, I'm here to give a very informal update about this book. We just hit, let me get in better lighting actually. This is quite informal. I'm watching the Chiefs game. Okay. If you didn't know that about me, I'm a Chiefs fan. My grandpa is from Kansas, so I was a fan before it was cool, okay? This is also their first game of the season, so I'm trying to lock in and watch that, but I'm also going to be reading as well. Sorry for the terrible angle. Like I said, this is very informal just because I have been so busy and haven't had time to actually like sit down and give like some actual updates, but I've made significant progress in Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies. I just made it to over halfway today when I went and got my oil changed in my car. We made it to page 182. I am planning on making some more significant progress tonight, and I'm hoping we can finish this in the next 3 or 4 days. I am like giving myself that amount of time for such little pages because I just know myself and I've just been so busy, and August and September are looking at being some really busy months because of moving and packing, and next week I want to start packing, but it's too early because we move at the end of September. Did I say that? Yeah, I've probably said that a gazillion times because it's just always on my mind. I shouldn't start packing next week because it would just be too many boxes all at once, but I am going to try to start like organizing and kind of getting things together next week, and I know that I need to do that instead of some of my reading time. So anyways, we are going to finish this within the next few days though, because we're getting to the spot where I really want to know what's going on. Like I want some answers. as to what's going on. I'm obviously going to give you some more formal updates as well as we read this. This is meant to just be kind of a casual reading vlog of my natural reaction as we were reading these books together. It's been a very pleasant surprise. We are 2 for 2 so far. I really liked the other one. I'm liking this one even more. So hopefully we also feel that way about book 3. But yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, all right, I would like to know what's going on. So I could see myself kind of locking in and finishing a good amount tonight, but I will obviously keep you updated. And then sometime in the next few days, I obviously will give you my thoughts once I finish it. I haven't filmed that many clips for this book, but it is what it is, and I'm taking you along for the ride. Love you guys so much, and I will keep you updated. Okay, hello, I almost just got hit in the face by my bookmark. We made it to page 220. I am going to sit down and read for, what is happening? I'm going to sit down and read for a little bit this morning and just make a little bit of progress. The cats are like being so funny. Look at them. I don't really have any other updates than what I kind of said before. I'm just anxious to kind of figure out what's going on because like I feel like the most climactic parts of the story are about to happen. But it almost, I don't want to say dragging because it's not dragging. It's honestly totally different genre and totally different vibes than the last book we read together, but similar in the way that I've kind of felt like the middle portion of the book has lacked just a little in the keeping me interested, but not enough to be like, oh, I'm not enjoying this. Like, I'm having a good time when I'm reading it. I'm just kind of like, all right, let's keep it moving. Like, I want to know what's going on, but that might just be a me problem. I'm trying to figure out where to set my camera so that we can read this together. Okay, we are steadily making progress. We're on page 270. I am so invested. Like, I've got to know what's going on. I fell asleep last night reading. We were just like so close to getting so many answers, and I love this. Like, the author, there was like a chapter, I think it was chapter like 22. The author, like, it was titled Breaking the Fourth Wall, and the author addresses you as the reader basically and is like, it's your turn to figure this out, and like I'm gonna be dropping clues and hints to like the mystery we're trying to solve, which I'm like, that is so cool. Like, the way that this book is written is really unique, and I'm just having a great time. So we're going to continue reading this morning. I don't necessarily think we're going to finish it this morning, but we are making significant progress. I really only think that there's another maybe 50, 60 pages left. So we are really, really close. I definitely think we can finish it today. As it turns out, I did sit here and I did just finish this book. I'm going to like actually sit on my thoughts on this for a little bit and do like a formal review style like I did for the other book. But it was such a quick, easy ending to read that I was like, you know what, let me just commit and read the last like 60 whatever pages. So I just finished it. My first initial thoughts are I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Is it the most riveting novel that changed my life? No. Was it a shocking, crazy plot twist? No. But I laughed out loud. I had a really good time. I think I'm going with 4 stars, but I'm going to sit on it a little bit and come back and chat with you guys about all of my thoughts. But overall, I would continue the series. There's another one that's out, actually. I think I didn't realize that until like the last page because they had like a little promo for it, but I really enjoyed this, honestly. I just love the way that it was written, how she broke the fourth wall so many times, how you really got to know the main character and her thoughts and all the things happening, and it was just kind of like a fun time. It was just a fun, goofy time. So I'm going to collect my thoughts, and I will come back and chat with you soon about this. Okay, we have officially finished Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. What a pleasant surprise. Have I completely altered my life, or will I like remember every page of this book? No, but I gave it 4 stars because I literally had such a fun time the entire time I read this. The best way I can explain it is like a crossover between like a fun, cozy mystery and like rom-com vibes. There's a little bit of romance sprinkled in there. It's definitely not the primary focus, but having it in there was just like a fun little add-in. I felt like I was in on a fun secret from beginning to end because I've never read anything where the author breaks the fourth wall so consistently. You are teamed up with the main character in this book to solve the mystery. And she does that through like little footnotes, little chapters that are written to you instead of like telling you a story. They're like, hey, by the way, pause. Me and you are going to discuss XYZ about this clue and this clue. Like, I've never read anything like that where the fourth wall is broken so consistently, but in a way where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in on this with the author. Like, it was really cute. Like, I laughed out loud. I got invested in the characters. I got invested in the relationships, and we are freaking 2 for 2 in this challenge, okay? Like, I, up to this point, have had like, and this is like weird to say, but if you're on social media and you're a reader and you're kind of like in the book talk space, in the booktube space, you get your recommendations from people you trust. So I go on, I look at Sarah Caroli, Destiny Sidwell, Madison Kate, all the people that I watch, and I read their suggestions because if they loved it, then I'm probably gonna love it. And who wants to read a book that they don't like? So because of that, I kind of got into this weird thing where I'd go to the bookstore. I would only gravitate towards books that I had seen before or seen talked about. And I'm like, at some point, somebody's got to pick up a book that they've never seen before and give it a try. So that was kind of the entire premise of this challenge, obviously. And we are 2 for 2. I really enjoyed the last book. It was so infinitely different than this one, and that was really what we were going for, and I'm hoping the third one is even more different. But we're literally doing so good. I in no way expected to be giving books that I've never seen before such high ratings. We have like a 3.5, which is a great rating. We have a 4-star. And I'm so excited to read the next one because what the heck, like I had a great time. If you're looking for just a fun, feel-good, cozy mystery read, this should be it. Like literally so cute and fun. And I think another thing too is I'm going in with such low expectations that I'm just having such a great time. We have one more book left in this challenge and I will check in with you when we start it. Hi there guys, it has been quite a time jump since we finished book 2 in this challenge. Since we last spoke on here, I have moved, changed jobs, like literally so many things have happened, but I didn't want to pick up the third book until I got a few other books done, and so we are finally reading The Mademoiselle Alliance by Natasha Lester. I'm 80 pages into it. I know. I should have started this video when I started the book, however, I couldn't stop myself and I wasn't in the mood to film when I first started this. So, you have to bear with me, okay? This has been a video in the making, a process in the making. I feel like I've been filming this video for, I don't know, months and months and months and months, but I do think it's gonna be worth it because I'm not even kidding you. All 3 books that I read in this, at least this one so far, have been just such a pleasant surprise, and I feel like I go into books with such a biased opinion because I'm listening to what other people say, and it has been a breath of fresh air to just make my own opinions about books that I saw in the store and thought, those look cool, let's read those. Not gonna lie, I feel like this one is shaping up to be my favorite of the 3 so far, at least with how it's starting and how enthralled I am by the story. Obviously, this book is gonna follow the same format where we go through and we read it together. I'll just stop and give you my thoughts here and there. And yeah, so we are starting here on page 80. I don't know what chapter that is. I think it's chapter 9, chapter 10. To give you a little premise of the story, if you like The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, it's definitely giving those vibes. It is historical fiction, but it's based on a real woman during real occupied France in World War II. There is a time jump in this, so it's jumping back and forth between the 1920s where she's freshly in love, married, having her babies, and then jumping to 10 plus years in the future where everything is going wrong and what is happening in France and what she's doing to stop the Germans taking over France. So far, she has been such a likable, beautiful character, a great example of just boldness, and the fact that she's a real human being makes this story so much more special to read because like this is somebody's lived experience. This is something that really happened to somebody and feelings they really had and experiences they really had. And it just makes it really, really interesting. So I am having a great time reading this and I'm going to take you along with me. So let's do it. Okay, a little update on the Mademoiselle Alliance. I'm on page 125. I just got to chapter 15 and I truly am eating this up, you guys. Like, I can't believe this woman existed. I just read chapter 14. She just did the most insane thing to cross a border and like risked her life, like truly like almost died. And like, she's just truly like the bravest person I've ever read about. And she existed in real life, you guys. Like so far, this is definitely my favorite book in this vlog. Like I haven't read a lot of historical fictions. I'm pretty sure the only historical fictions I've read are Kristen Hanna books. And she is giving Kristen Hanna in the best way. Like I'm loving how this is written. There's just enough comedic relief with like found family, with like just the depiction of this woman's bravery and her character, and just she's such a real person. This author, it just feels like she knew her because she's just such a real person. And like I'm on part 2. There's a quote from a historian and it says, "To this day, historians of the resistance persist in the belief that no women led resistance networks, blatantly ignoring the work of Marie Madeline." That's the character in this, is Marie Madeline. And she, like, I truly cannot believe that this human being existed. Like the quote on the front says, "A passionate, fiery tribute to a historical woman so extraordinary she almost defies belief." And I'm literally only 125 pages into this, and that's how I'm feeling. Like, she literally just did something that, like, if I were faced with what she just had to do, I truly don't think I'd be able to do it. And like, she's carrying this like resistance on her back, and I just truly can't get over how real this character is. Like, obviously she was a real person, but the way Natasha Lester has written her, she feels so real. Like, so real that I feel like I could sit down and have a conversation with her and like know the mannerisms she'd have or know what she'd be thinking. Like, it's also written in her perspective, which just makes it so gorgeous. Just to kind of get this picture of what she was thinking and dealing with. And I'm wondering how much of this, you know, is poetic license and how much of this was, you know, written in history books, or not a lot apparently, or how we really got this information about this woman. And I'm hoping so much that like there's some sort of happy ending for her, because I truly cannot imagine. She's 32 years old in 1941. So there's no way that she's still alive. I'm not going to look it up because I'm so scared that she's going to die in this, but alas, please pick this up. I'm obviously not going to give you a ton more details because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm literally only a third of the way through, and I can't believe that nobody's talking about this book. I think it just makes it so much better that it's a real person, and that, like, I feel like usually any books that I've read where it's based on a real person can be kind of boring because it's just kind of monotonous. Like, this is what they did and this is how they did it and whatever. Like, this is a real story, like a real fully fleshed out story. When people write books, they write them for the shock value, or they write them for like a plot structure where there's satisfaction for the reader to receive at certain plot points. You know what I mean? Like, they go through the plot, okay, this happens and that makes sense because this and the foreshadowing, whatever. This is a real story, and it's so cool that it still hits the satisfaction points of the reader because it's like, this really happened. So anyways, I cannot wait to finish this and learn everything there is to know about this woman. But yeah, you got to read it, you guys. That's my little update. I might read for another couple of minutes and carry on with I'm going to read one more chapter, but yeah, we're on chapter 15. I'm literally so excited. I cannot believe that this book exists. I'm so happy that it ended up in my hands somehow. And now you get to know about it because I hope that you pick it up. Okay, like, I'm loving it so much. All right, you guys, we have 30 pages left in this book. You might be thinking, wow, the vlog for this part of the book has been so short. Yeah, because I've been literally flying through it, not even taking the time to film because I am so utterly obsessed with this. I'll obviously give you my full review after, but I have a feeling this is going to be my first 5-star of the year. I am so like gripped by this story. I'm going to stop myself because I need to finish this before I go crazy, and then I'll give you my full review, full thoughts on everything. But I am just so incredibly thankful I picked this up. Things I'll remember forever, quotes I'll remember forever. This book left a mark on my life, and I cannot wait to see how it ends. So let's read the ending together. I'm terrified. I'm literally terrified. I've got a cute little coffee in a mug that my friend made me. It's got a little croissant on it. It's so cute. It's a banana bread maple latte. Let's finish this up. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, like I know the outcome of the war in real time, right? But like reading it and feeling like I'm there with these people, like I just like, you guys, this is, oh, yeah, woohoo! I can't believe this really happened. This really happened to people. If this doesn't end happily, I'm gonna be so mad. Well, I'm bawling my eyes out. Is anybody surprised? No. Oh my God. This book will stick with me for the rest of my life. Like, actually, like, it's not just like sad because the author did a good job, like, and like also fulfilling because she was a great writer. It's not just that. It's the fact that like the story's real. And like these were real people, and the way that this author just made it feel so personal was just like incredible. I just read her author's note, and like she depicted like some of the stuff that she had to change in the story, but for the most part it's like exactly what happened. And oh wow, that was incredible. That was incredible. Obviously a 5-star. I'm going to give a full review when I've composed myself. But some books just like, I think, leave a mark on you forever. And that one 100% will forever. So we'll talk soon. If you would have told me how much this book would come to mean to me when I first picked this out, I never would have believed you. I, in the past, have not been a huge historical fiction girl. The only historical fiction I've read is Kristen Hanna, and I took a chance on her like about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, and I really loved her style of writing, and I was never like a big history girl. And so finding stories about history that were just so heartwarming would just absolutely stick with you, change your perspective, honestly, like just change your mindset about so many things in your life. I was like, this is incredible. Kristen Hanna is just so amazing. And then when I began this journey of finding 3 books that I had never seen before and trying to pick 3 different genres just to really throw myself out of my comfort zone, I remember thinking, and I may have said in one of the videos, I'm not sure, like I haven't stitched this video together at this point, but I anticipated that I would like this one the least. And this ended up being my very first 5-star of 2026. This book will stick with me forever. I truly cannot say enough good things about how this character became so real to me, and the fact that she did really exist in 1940s occupied France during World War II is just, it made this story so special to know that this, like, I mean, obviously there's some work of fiction within this, but for the most part, I read the author's note, for the most part, all of these events did happen, and Marie Madeline, who's the main character in this book, didn't end up getting the credit that she deserved for saving thousands of lives, if not more than that. And I really can't explain it outside of you just picking this up yourself, but a tragically moving, gorgeous story full of hope and sadness and obviously tragedy and death, but also life and the sacrifices it takes to have freedom. And also just like as like her, from her perspective of being a leader and what sacrifices she has to make as a leader, even as somebody who's more like sensitive. She's a mother, and also it's 1940s, so she was looked down upon by everybody surrounding her because she's a woman, and she is the leader of the resistance that saved so many lives. And I had never heard her name before reading this, and I just absolutely can't believe that that's still the case. So if you are interested in history at all, if you're interested, but with the caveat of understanding, I was not a history reader at all, and this is the most page-turning, beautiful story, one of the most I've ever picked up. I will never forget how this book made me feel. I stayed up oftentimes till 2 a.m. trying to see what would happen next, just because, one, I can't believe a real person did some of these things, and I cannot believe these are real events that happened in history. And also, I can't believe that nobody knows this woman's name. I can't believe that she never got the recognition she deserved for the ways in which she laid her life down on the line, and so many others, to free France and to ultimately free everybody involved in World War II. So that is basically all I'll say. It's about a stunningly brave, real woman that, against literally all odds, formed the resistance called the Alliance. And I am starstruck by this woman, actually. Let me find a couple quotes that really just like stuck out to me. I can't read you the last few because I don't want to give anything away, but here's a couple. Better to be mad and right than sane and submissive. I never want my children to believe that their mother taught them to sit back and accept something that they know is wrong. Like I said, she was a mother, and obviously she had to not have her kids around her for quite a long time during all this. I don't want all the other small boys in small towns in France to grow up mistaking evil for honor. This is one of my favorite quotes in the whole book. To fight them, I have to tamp down the incandescent grief and the fear, but I can still feel it burning away the perimeter of my heart. What if every grief I smother makes my heart smaller? And it's just like, there's just this dichotomy of what she's dealing with within herself, that every time she makes a decision as a leader, she has to tamp down her grief. And will that eventually make her feel numb to the tragedies that she is facing? The fear of becoming less of a person because of the choices that she's having to make. And along the same line, this is another one of my favorite quotes. What is the most terrible thing I'll do in this disguise? Will I even know it at the time? Or will I one day be so terrible that I'll forget to ask this question at all? So along the same lines of what I just said before, but just really struggling as a leader, making decisions that send people into peril or send people into danger. Young kids that she's having to take on as soldiers. And it's just like, again, a beautiful, beautiful story. I truly cannot recommend this enough. 5-6-star read. I'll never forget how this made me feel. I actually think that this tops any Kristen Hanna book I've ever read, which is high praise for me because I love Kristen Hanna. So take that with what you will. Please read this. So thankful that I walked into that store and picked this up. So thankful that I took a chance on this, even though I'd never heard anybody talk about this. And that was the point of this whole challenge in the first place. So yeah, I absolutely I adored this so much. We did it, you guys. We read all 3 of these books. The Mademoiselle Alliance by Natasha Lester, Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack, and Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. All 3 of these books were genuinely such a good time in all the different genres and facets and different things that they discussed. They could not be more different. These books could not be more different, and what a just win for me, because that was exactly why I did this challenge. I wanted to read 3 totally different things I'd never seen before, things I never would have taken a chance on. And all of these books I would recommend, all of them. All of them. Where the Axe is Buried, I'd recommend if you love sci-fi dystopian vibes and you kind of just want something that's thought-provoking. You're not really looking for like a story with a ton of satisfaction and closure. This is meant to provide more questions than answers. And you saw me read it. It just was kind of like a wild ride. I was like, what is going on? Where am I right now? But this was just it was very intriguing from beginning to end, and even though it didn't have that same like satisfaction and closure that a normal book does, wasn't disheartening or unsatisfying either. I thought that this was just very, very interesting. I think I landed on 3.5 stars for this. Then we've got Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. This was just a great time. It had footnotes. I love footnotes. Had a little sprinkle of romance in there. A lot of character depth. A lot of like mystery work. This was a great time, and I'm pretty sure she has more books that I will absolutely pick up more books from her. I'm pretty sure I rated this 4 stars, 3.75 to 4. I love this. I actually had a great time. And of course, The Mademoiselle Alliance by Natasha Lester, my first 5-star of 2026. One of my favorite books of all time. This will be in my top 5 for the year, 100%, no doubt about it. You heard me rant and rave, so I'm gonna close my mouth, but oh my gosh, the most pleasant surprise ever. There are no words for how much I absolutely just devoured this, highlighted so much of it, underlined so much of it, and just my perspectives on life, I feel like everything changed, and that's how some books just affect you, and obviously the ending made me so emotional, and just everything made me so emotional because this is a freaking real woman. I just can't believe that she existed. And so anyways, thank you guys for going on this journey with me. I hope this convinced you to 1, pick up these books, okay? And 2, pick up books you've never seen, pick up genres you've never tried, because what a pleasant surprise. I'm expanding my reading taste. I'm learning what things I like. I'm learning how to make my own opinions without some best-selling curated list for me. And it really was so amazing. As a reader who that's my number 1 hobby, it's what I love doing the most. I want to get better at it. I want to expand my search into different genres, expand my taste into different things. And so this has been such a wild ride. I accomplished what I set out to do, find 3 books I would love and could recommend without having heard about them from anywhere else. So I hope that this encourages you. I hope that you go pick these up. I hope you go pick up a lot of books you've never seen before. And then we all just find a bunch of new books that we never would have found because we're all just grabbing random books, giving authors a chance even if we haven't heard their name on Book Talk a million times. So Anyways, I love you guys so much. Of course, you can subscribe to support me on here. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. I'm also on TikTok, Instagram. I have an Etsy shop. And yeah, I love chatting with you guys. So I will 100% talk to you soon. Let me know what other videos you are wanting to see in the future, and I will see you soon.